Hey you guys, welcome back to another live stream. We're gonna be doing something different this time, which is instead of just, always talking about topics, I'm just gonna play some games and just chill. Also share with you some things that I learned when it comes to manipulation, especially today. So basically I went to the store and I wanted to get like a new TV remote because my old one broke down. And what's interesting was that someone, the store representative, tried to manipulate me because he thought maybe he thought I wouldn't notice, but I immediately identified it. So basically the story is that I went to the store to get a remote, and then they tried to upsell me on my my internet plan, because basically it's like a mobile internet, so they manage your internet and your TV. But then the issue was that I was just there for the remote, right? So I got the remote. And then after that, he just... The way people manipulate you, basically, is that I noticed, especially with salespeople, they will overwhelm you with information. And they will just keep talking and talking and just bombarding you with facts and information, trying to manipulate the way you think. So for example, they might say something like, oh, you're paying way too much for your internet, or something. So that starts the conversation, right? So he's just like, you're paying way too much. And then he basically looked at my account and said, you're paying way too much. Do you want to change it? Or he didn't say, do you want to change it? But basically he was just like, you should change it, right? Because you're paying way too much. You're overpaying. And so he's kind of forcing these beliefs and ideals onto me. And the thing is that I never even asked for it, right? I didn't ask for to change my internet plan. I didn't ask for any of that. All I wanted was the TV remote. But then all of a sudden now he starts looking at other things, right? He's like, oh, you might need new speakers. It's like, oh, your TV is not good enough. Maybe you want to upgrade your TV. Or oh, you're not getting enough channels. You're paying too much for your channels. And so basically they look into all these other things and they start identifying problems. But those problems don't exist in the first place. That's the thing. I went there for remote control, but then all of a sudden, now he's looking at all these other things and I never asked him to do that. And so he's forcing these beliefs and ideals onto me. That's a form of manipulation. They're looking into sales. You know about that. The way they get you to buy something is to make you believe that you have a problem. Because once you think that you have a problem, then it's a lot easier for them to sell you a product and present you with a solution to that problem, right? But the thing is, and so that's the way they manipulate you. They make you believe that there's a problem, and then they give you a solution. When in reality, the problem never existed in the first place, right? There is no problem with the amount of TV channels I have, or whatever. It's just he's trying to make a sale, most likely for his own selfish reasons. Because he probably gets commissions, or he's trying to get promoted or something. So he's trying to sell you something. That's how it works. So that's one of the best. So that's one way to identify when someone's trying to manipulate you, is that they will point out problems when you might not have asked for them.
Stand with me.
So they'll point the problems out, and in that way, once they point the problems out, then you'll fall into the belief of thinking that you have problems and that you naturally, the next thing to do is to seek out solutions. And that's where they come in. And they use their manipulation tactics to like sell you on something. Or maybe they're like, you know, hey, join this cult. Or like, hey, this solution we have for you, just sign this contract. Or, you know, do this or do that, or change your lifestyle, or blah, blah, blah. That's the way they manipulate you, is through problem and solution. That's the first way. Second way that I noticed is that this person was most likely, their MBTI type is
Let me scribe.
ESTJ, I'm pretty confident, or ENTJ. I'd say EX. ESTJ, very like confident about
Shadows of fate.
their first function is ENTJ, which is
Fate is
external
upon
thinking.
you.
So they'll do the thinking.
Our bond is strong.
And the way they manipulate you by...
Take it easy.
So a lot of salespeople, if you notice, are actually ESTJs. They'll put on this facade of being very knowledgeable, bombarding you with facts and information. That's what a good salesperson does, provide you with information, help you make these decisions so that you don't have to think. Well, what happens when you don't have to think, right? It's very easy for you to be manipulated, because you're not thinking. All I need to say is, you know, your house, you're paying way too much for it. Here's a cheaper option. If you're not thinking, you're gonna believe what I have to say. And then you're gonna do exactly what I want you to do, right? If you take on a mortgage, you don't need to. What do you know? That mortgage comes with a contract for like 2 years, where you have to pay interest and cover the cost of it.
Delve into destiny.
Or there's other hidden agendas, like, what do you call them? Hidden contracts, hidden clauses, like terms that you might not be aware of.
Written in the stars. Let me scribe.
And the way they do that is by basically bombarding people with information, thinking on your behalf, and framing it as though they have your best interests at heart when they don't, because they're being selfish, remember? So that's the second one. Bombarding you with information, doing the thinking on your behalf, and not letting you get a word in. So like when I was talking to the representative, he would not let me get a word in, right? He kept talking and talking and talking and talking, and he would not shut up for the entire like 30 minutes that I was there. I am not joking when I say he would not shut up. Like he would literally not shut up for 30 minutes. He would just kept talking and would not pause at all. And me being an introvert, I did not. I immediately like spotted that out. Basically, knew that he was up to something. But I didn't want to say it to his face, right? I just let him continue his act because I want to learn. It's a good like lesson for me to like learn about how the ESTJ operates, and then how he's trying to manipulate people. And so in the future, I can use that information to my advantage, prevent it from happening again.
Keep your weapon at the ready. You never know what's around the corner.
I learned from that experience. I leak their secrets to you guys, right? And so you guys learn from it. And then so that prevents you guys from being manipulated in the future. Or if you also find yourself in a similar situation in the future, you know how to deal with it. You know what they're trying to do. Which is something that doesn't come naturally to other personality types. They don't know when they're being manipulated. But then for an INFJ, it's a lot easier because we can sense it even though we can't explain it. So what I'm doing now is I'm explaining to you their tactics and how they do it so that you can spot them and then you know what they're up to and then you can prevent yourself from the same trap. So that's the second way to do it. Overload you with information so that you can't make a decision on your own merit. They do the thinking for you, basically. Once they do the thinking for you, then you're already in the trap. This is why it's important to stay away from like social media and the news, because all they do is they
Decided by destiny. I'll
look on the news, they're like, oh, you know, an event happened, this is a disaster. Right? They're trying to make you believe that it's a disaster. They're trying to do the thinking for you, so that you don't think. And then you just become a mindless robot. And they can basically manipulate
Let me start. Time to
thinking
oblivion.
whatever they want.
Let's nip it in
Like you should go get a job and start a family and get a mortgage and blah blah blah. Right? Those are all ways of thinking, which you've probably been programmed to believe since you were a kid. But it's only now you realize, oh, they might be manipulating me to believe these things, even though they're not really aligned with who I am. So that's one of the ways you need to identify when you're being manipulated, what is and what isn't for you, and then decide for yourself whether or not you want to continue down that path of believing other people's ideals. And then as for the third way, is there a third way? Yeah, they usually appear really friendly and energetic in order to manipulate you, because people naturally respond better to people that are, you know, friendly and energetic, making it appear as though they have your best interests at heart, when really they might have another agenda behind the scenes. So, a perfect example of this is, you could say that I'm trying to manipulate you by sharing this information with you. And
can't see.
You could say that I have a hidden agenda, but whether or not that agenda is for your benefit, if it benefits you, only you will be able to discern that. And the way you discern whether someone truly has your best interests at heart is you need to learn how to think by yourself.
Don't be afraid to make
always
mistakes.
believe, so you need
It's
to
all
like,
part of the
develop a
learning
habit
process.
of doing your own research. So I had to get out of that store because I knew that that guy who would not shut up. He would keep talking and just basically overwhelming me with information because he would not shut up. So then I wouldn't be able to think as to whether or not what he's saying is true. So the first thing I did was I got out of the store after taking screenshots of like what he told me, like the papers and like the forms, the prices of stuff. So first thing I did was I got out of the store. After taking those pictures, I did my own research, right? I went on the internet, searched up everything he told me, saw whether or not it was true. Guess what? It wasn't. It's actually even more expensive than what I'm paying for now. And slower speeds. So not only am I getting less than what I'm getting paid for, I also have to pay more. So from that, I can basically deduce that he was trying to get a new sale. And the way he was trying to do that is by manipulating me into believing what he had to say, because he probably saw me as like just a kid who doesn't know anything, because he kept mentioning my parents. But anyway,
Sure.
yeah. So then, when it comes to manipulation, you need to be very careful.
Gather.
Because not everyone has your best interests at heart. They will say whatever they need to say in order to get you to believe what they want you to believe, and they will lie to you. Like that guy lied to me. He said, "Oh, you say you're paying way too much." Well, I'm not actually. I'm actually paying just enough, right? I'm paying less than what he was going to offer.
Stabilize.
So I know instantly
Order
that
guide.
he's lying. He doesn't have my best interest at heart, and he's just trying to help me get a sale. This is why it's very important to learn how to think. The problem is that people are, I don't want to say lazy. They're too lazy, right? They just believe everything they hear because it's convenient. Thinking is not convenient. Thinking involves
Solidify.
Thinking involves examining whether or not what the person is saying is true. For them, it's a form of entertainment, right? It needs a form of entertainment because they don't verify whether or not what the news is saying is true.
Lightning,
They just
terrified.
watch it, and
Upon
then
its
they're
strong.
like,
Stabilize.
oh no, look at what's happening in the world. You know, a new virus popped up. This is happening in
Oh,
that
reveal.
war-torn country or whatever. Blah blah blah, right? They don't verify any of this stuff. People just believe it without any sort of skepticism.
Midnight
Which is
Phantasmagoria.
another belief in our society, right? So you're skeptical, you're pessimistic, if it's bad.
Order guide you.
It's bad to always question what you've been told. Like, why are you like trying to stir up a ruckus? Why are you trying to be rebellious? As though being rebellious is bad, right?
Yeah.
These are all beliefs.
Dance with the waves.
From
Out of my way.
program as a kid. Just, you know, go to school, do as you're told,
Stabilize.
don't question, don't talk back to your teachers, right? These are all beliefs that we have, we know about.
Yeah. With all my strength.
Why? Because it's easier for them to control you and manipulate you and point you to a certain solution
Wings of darkness.
when
Come,
they
sever
make you
night from
believe those
day.
things.
Our bond
This
is
does,
strong.
of course, this doesn't mean that you should go around stirring up trouble.
Yeah.
It just means that you need to be able to think for yourself. Oh no, I'm out of... Oh wait, that's okay. Yeah, I'll just use more resins. Anyway, for those who are wondering what I'm playing, it's called Genshin Impact. It's a really nice game. It has a lot of spiritual elements to it as well. I started playing it earlier this year, and I can tell you that I learned a lot of things just from playing this game about my own life. And like just how things in general play
Stand
out.
with me.
So yeah, if you are interested in learning more, I'd highly recommend you check it out. It's free as well. And doesn't require that much time, investment either. I'm gonna get a drink of water. So that's what I wanted to share in regards to manipulation. They will present you with a problem that may or may not exist, and they'll present you with a solution. And that solution often entails their best interests at heart. So, for example, getting you to pay money, right? They could say, you know, let's look at fat shaming as an example, right? They say you're fat and your body is, you know, out of shape. You need to go to the gym. And so you're saying, okay, how do I go to the gym? And they're just like, oh, that's easy. You pay, you know, $20 a month and you can use all the facilities for free to help you lose weight. That's a form of manipulation, because why? Before that, you might not have had the belief that there was anything wrong with your body until after they bring it up into your awareness that, oh, there might actually be something wrong with your body, right? You should actually lose weight. But again, that is a form of manipulation. So I'm not saying it is good to be overweight, but use your own discernment, right? If you don't think you're overweight, then you're not overweight, right? Go by what you believe, not what other people believe. Because they don't know anything about your life, and they don't know the circumstances that you're going through. So how can they basically judge you on whether or not something is good or bad? Why is the stream so bad? Hold on. To be overweight? I'm looking at the stream now, and I'm wondering why the webcam is so bad.
Get out of here.
But yeah, use your own discernment in everything you do in life, because that's the only way you'll be able to find happiness. I'm only now looking at the stream and I'm
Benny's Adventure Team,
wondering why
assemble!
the quality is so bad. Because on my
Let's
screen
light
it's
it up.
fine. Hold on.
Astrologers must rid themselves of material desires.
Yeah, I may
Only
have
by
to fix
ridding
this
oneself of clutter can
for
one see
screen,
the
but
true
I'll leave
world
it.
around them.
for now, but I'll fix this in my next stream for sure. Oh, there.
Shadows of fate.
Written in the stars!
Let me scribe.
Yeah, that's why it's important
Fate is upon you.
to be aware of what other people are saying.
Excuse me.
And how your own beliefs
I love
relate
fruit.
to what they're saying. If you find yourself so far
Destiny!
INFJs, I'd say it's like feeling, right?
Decided
We
murder!
feel when something is off. So like for example, if we go to the store
Shadows of
and we're
fate!
looking for, I don't know, food, but then you point us in the
Let it
direction
light it up!
of laundry,
Let's nip that in the
we're
bud.
instantly
Into
then,
destiny!
or not wrong, but something is off because we never asked for it, right? And we had no interest in laundry detergent whatsoever. So from that, we can kind of understand that like something is going on that we didn't necessarily ask for. So the person is trying to kind of override your free will. So when someone is trying to override your free will and make decisions on your behalf, it's a form of manipulation. Which is why it's very careful. Which is why it's very important to know when that's happening. Because basically the only thing that provides you with a sense of freedom is your free will. If you don't have free will, then you're not free. You are basically a slave into believing everything and anything people want you to believe.
Ha! Too easy! Flee! Yeah! Do your worst! Yeah!
Our bond is strong.
It's funny because that happened also like just today, which is December the 1st, and apparently today is supposed to be like a pretty important day in terms of like moving forward in your life. So, moving forward in your life, gaining momentum. So if things are happening in your life today,
Flee!
things are like out of the norm for you, or you feel like there's like someone that's trying to like manipulate you or irritate you or get on your nerves or something like that, it's probably because the universe is like trying to teach you something, and they want you to learn the lesson, right? So in that moment, I kind of knew that the universe was trying to teach me something by putting that person in my path. It's very interesting. So I view like a lot of challenges now, or whenever I get irritated, irritates me or like triggers me or tries to manipulate me or tries to override my free will, then I take it as a lesson, right? There's something there for me to learn. There's something for me to basically take note of. Or he's just slow. Fascinating. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Universal lesson, right? So the universe teaches you in many different ways. One of the most frequent ways it teaches me is by my interactions with other people. So the universe can basically use anything at its disposal in order to teach you a lesson. So it can use people, it can use circumstances, it can use situations, all in order to get you to be aware of something in your life. So that's the way I learn. In terms of like a spiritual aspect, that's how I learn the things that I need to know in order to upgrade my life and become a better version of myself. The universe will throw tests at it. It will throw what some people will perceive as negative situations into your path.
Let's go. You want?
And how you view those situations, your mindset around them, basically determines what you still need to learn. So if, let's say you wanted to go to a party and you've been waiting days for this party, and then all of a sudden it starts raining, right? You might get depressed, you might get super sad about it. And one way you might look at it is like, oh, why is this always happening to me, blah, 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 right? And it's basically like a victim mindset, right? You can also look at it from another angle, which is like, hey, this is happening for a reason.
Let's light it
Instead
up.
of making myself a victim, why don't I look at why this is
outlines your
from a like objective point of view, without my emotions and my own personal like beliefs about this. So basically the belief in this situation is why do you view a rainy day as a negative thing, right? It could be a positive thing. Maybe the universe doesn't want you to go to that party because there's like a traffic accident or something along the way and they don't want you to
rain outlines your
why they put that obstacle in the path. That is one way that the universe actually protects you. It's just that we might not realize it because we're so focused on getting what we want. We don't look at maybe there's a reason why things happen, right? It is said that nothing in this world happens without a reason.
Going in!
There's always a higher reason behind everything. An intelligence
Let me weave you a
that
bow.
basically we as humans can't understand because our perspective is too limited and we can only see things from our point of view. But if you look at the grand picture, right, if we put aside our own desires, put aside our desires, and we look at maybe there's a reason why this is happening. We take things from that perspective. All of a sudden, things start to fall into alignment, right? It's just like, oh, they didn't want me to go to that party because there was an accident. So the universe is actually looking out for me and trying to protect me. It's not that, you know, I'm unlucky, or it's not that things always go bad for me whenever I want to have fun. It's circumstance happens because of a reason. We just don't know what that reason is. And so it's very important to basically have faith
It is as the stars.
in whatever is happening. Have faith that it is in your highest interest, which is difficult to do, right? Because we, as humans, we always base things on like, we need concrete evidence that something is to protect us or for
Let me
our
scribe.
good. If we don't have
Let's
that,
light it up!
we naturally assume
Eyes
that
on me!
something negative.
The fuse is lit!
So that's how I like to view situations, or at least that's how I try to view situations. There are moments, of course, where I do allow my ego to take over and I view things in a negative light, but even though I don't believe it, and even though I sometimes struggle with it, I still do believe that everything that happens to us happens for a reason. And the fun part is discovering what that reason is and realizing that, oh, it all falls into place, right? That moment of discovery where you realize
Benny's Adventure Team,
that
assemble!
your faith was well placed. And that your decision to believe that everything happens for a reason is not misplaced, right? So a lot of people don't have the idea, or they don't want to believe that everything that happens to them happens for a reason, because they're afraid of the end result. Because what if that doesn't come true, right? What if the universe doesn't have my back? That's one way that they're looking at it.
Hello. Oh, it's you.
So one of the things
remember
when it
you.
comes to spirituality is having faith that everything will turn out well. It may not turn out the way that you want it to turn out, but it will turn out in a positive manner, right? The way that will stimulate the most growth for you and the most learning. Because that is how you improve as a human being.
Nice. Peaceful.
Yeah, just like what Shishi is
I
saying.
can do my
If you want
stretches in the daytime
something that's nice and
without
peaceful in your
anyone
life,
watching.
you need to go through these challenges.
And
Otherwise, there's
there
always
aren't
going to
too
be inner
many
conflict
things
inside of you,
to
and you're going to let things get to you.
remember. Herbs. Herbs. Remind me, what are herbs again? No need. I will be fine. Don't forget.
So yeah, that is what I want to share with you in terms of what I encountered today.
How did you know that I was
In terms
worrying
of,
about
like,
finding a place to practice? Simple
manipulation.
tents and a traveler's pack? Practicing
And
here
how you
would be
can
great.
identify it and use
Good
it towards
thinking
your
setting this up
advantage
around
instead
your
of
house.
allowing others to
Many
push you
thanks for
around.
the trouble you went to.
This is where having strong boundaries comes in, right? As an INFJ, because we're tempted to just basically let things slide because it's not a big deal to us. But when things like this are happening and people are trying to
This
manipulate you
place feels familiar.
because they want your money, they're still
Let
rich
me
bastards,
look at my notebook.
then
Yes,
you need
when I was
to
gathering
be able to
herbs,
identify it so you can stand
I
your ground.
rested somewhere. It was like
Because once
this
we
place.
realize and we have evidence
So,
someone
this
is trying to
place is
manipulate us,
safe.
it's very easy
Thank
for us to just
you.
cut them out of our life, right? We can just ignore the salesperson, pretend he's not talking, or just tell them to, shut the fuck up. You're being too loud, I'm trying to think, right? We can be rude, Because why? They're being rude to us. They're not respecting our freedom, they're not respecting our free will, they're talking over us. And so it's very easy to basically let all those social beliefs in regards to like mannerisms and being a good person, just let it all slide away, because the person has no manners towards us. There's no reason why we should do the same for
The
them.
wind blowing through this park brings with it a familiar scent. This would be the perfect spot to rest on a nice afternoon, listening to the sounds of the water. It's just so relaxing. Thank you. I love this place.
Let's sit down for a while. I need to check my stream settings, because it's really grainy. If you notice, my camera is really grainy. I don't know if the in-game footage is grainy too. I think it's the limits that I set on my stream. I'll have to look at this again in the future. But yeah, this was a good test. Gonna stop the stream now, and I will do this again in the future. Let me know if like this format is okay, where I just kind of like chill and do my own thing and kind of share with you what I kind of learned. It's like if I just sit there and I just talk, it's kind of, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like not interactive, right? With some people, they come in, they may watch the stream, but then they don't say anything. So this way, even if no one is like saying anything, I at least have something to do. And if they comment, then like I can just pop in, look at their comment, and be like, okay, and just answer whatever question they have on their mind. So yeah, that is it for this stream. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.